Man, watching documentaries about how fucked up Agent Orange has, like,
I don't,
I don't know,
Oh,
like how terribly it's affected the Vietnam population. It's really sad.
it shows he's not even on Discord right now, like at all. So I don't know.
yeah.
I think his Discord might have just crashed. Tell him.
Right, well, we have this broadcasting anyway, so he's not going to miss anything.
Alright, for point of reference, did everyone watch the video Ren sent?
I have not
Probably
had
not.
time.
That's what I was gonna go over.
Been working.
Okay.
I have to go find it on YouTube real quick.
I have it. It's on one of my. Oh, whatever. You'll be able to find it easier than if I tell you some convoluted
Written
way.
feedback on General Play Live now. Okay.
I'm sure between you and me we can explain it.
Yeah.
Core concepts of it anyway.
Oh, this is cool.
What?
Oh man, it's weird hearing myself on that thing.
You just pause it or don't have the live stream on. So
I know, but I wanted to look at it for a minute.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, it is really weird. Sometimes I'll do that with Twitch and it'll just go.
Oh my god.
Bruce has left the group.
I heard him. Oh, huh, that was weird.
Did we? I don't think we. Well, no, I don't think we necessarily need Overwatch on at this moment because we're going over a video.
That's true. Do you have the... Yeah, why don't you use that sync tube link that I sent you? Make a room and then we can join up.
Okay,
I could also make it if you're not familiar.
I'm not familiar. I'm only familiar with Rabbit.
I got
Which I don't think you guys have Rabbit.
I do not know what Rabbit is.
Rabbit is a extension for Google Chrome. It's where you can share one specific screen with another person. I don't know if you can do it with multiple people. I've never done that.
There we go.
We have to use an off-brand version of sync
What's up?
tube.
I was just doing a review right now. Improving our defense against dive,
God, I hate this.
especially dive.
Trying to find the link. Somewhere in all
Come in
these
there, come in there,
goddamn
come in there.
texts.
No, wait. Try that, try that. It's in general.
Come here. Okay.
And shoot me the link to the vid via Discord, and then I can put it up on here.
So then I did need to find it. Okay.
Oh, I thought. Okay, never mind.
Hold on. Is it I just clicked on it a little while ago.
You can put on music low.
Actually, I just go to Crow's channel and find it.
Oh,
Yes. Okay, we can go over a smaller video first, actually.
Okay.
One of my friends told me that I should start streaming, but do like cocktail things while I stream.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Cocktail thing.
Well, I love that video that's being advertised right now on there.
In a
Yeah.
heartbeat.
That was such a sweet romantic video. I loved it. There you go. We'll go over this one first because it'll help also in explaining a few points that I need to make.
Okay. Let's get this up. Ooh, I should turn this down.
Also, it was back when you had a really badass opening. That was hilarious.
When we what?
Nothing.
Oh. Alright.
Is everybody in the room?
Should be. We're all watching it. This is going.
Got it going.
Alright.
I paused it.
Oh.
Or it's paused.
alright.
So this is Hanamura Point B, clearly enough.
So what should we be looking for here specifically, or are we just watching general gameplay?
Hold on. I'll explain it in just a moment.
bitch. I got a trap up here.
That's right, bitch.
Hanamura. This is the... I don't know how else to describe it. This is the fundamental Junkrat map.
Now, throughout this entire video, you're gonna learn one thing, is that he kind of revolves around certain points.
It's kind of boring, but
Mm-hmm.
And then he says that you do one thing, it's kind of boring, but it works. You have to be extremely patient on defense, because when you find something that works, you have to be patient enough not to go out and die.
Yep.
And then things happen, and then you murder people, and you don't die that much.
We've made that
Basically
mistake of
the next 7
overextending
minutes
before.
Yes.
No, it's
Many
specifically
times.
here too.
Like, this point B, this is a map you don't need to overextend on at all.
Exactly. Yeah, you just sit.
Yeah. Like, overextending is how you lose it, and holding certain spots. Like, he's holding that spot, and it's preventing them from going through that main doorway. It's preventing them from going underneath the team. And when they do get on, his team immediately swarms them. He kills anyone that jumps him. He just continuously like, murders them from a distance. Now, this time he did leave. He immediately went back in the air, harassing the Pharah.
Who's actually going after the Pharah?
He can kill Pharahs in air. He's that good at Junkrat.
here we go.
That's probably
Well,
something
it's
we
a matter
shouldn't
of just
bank on, but
it's just predicting.
And then
the
he
direction.
goes
There
back.
we go.
Now we move it over here. See, they have to commit so many resources up here that it's not worth it.
yeah, it does force him to fight him on like a ridiculously small area, which is just
Absolutely terrible idea against a Junkrat.
Yeah.
You can also tell where they're going. If he communicated with his team, which he actually never does, he'd be able to tell them, like, you have a more communicative team, though. So he'd be able to say, hey, they're right next to there, but he doesn't talk to people. He relies purely on sound. His voice channel, and he actually meets all chats.
Oh, goddamn.
And then things like that happens. Because nobody can really get to him.
I don't know. Widow's over here. It's a Widow or a Pharah. I heard that
But that's how he is able to do this, because he's so
Widow.
good at
Got a
hearing things, he can keep the chat muted, and he can just, like, predict what people are going to do without even having to try that much.
shit. Yeah, there she is.
that's handy.
So he's like
I don't think that's
me when I'm in the Matrix.
Yeah, it's not something not a lot of people do, but he makes it work really well for himself.
well. I don't think that's something we can do. But
No, it's not something you can do. No. And you don't have to worry about something like that. Because you're not solo queuing. Hanamura is my favorite map to defend on.
I could live without either of this, any of this, the 2 CP maps, but
2CP is my favorite map.
Ew.
I like payloads.
Payloads are okay. I still like 2CP.
I was
My
gonna try to get a line.
he has literal ability
What do I do?
to
I hide here.
attack everyone without having to get anywhere near them.
Very- This is just, man. It's so annoying for the enemy team to deal with this shit. I hate doing it myself, but this is the most efficient way to do this point.
See, I do the same thing with Pharah.
Yeah, you can do that with Pharah. But if they jump you, it'll be slightly harder to defend yourself.
Yep, that's really all that's really all the problem is.
She can't strictly get around corners either.
Yeah.
It's like easier to dodge Pharah's stuff, honestly, at least from when I play.
Yeah. It also does depend. If somebody's not able to handle fire, they're just not able to handle
I think
fire.
Junkrat bombs, when they actually explode on somebody, have a wider radius than the rockets do.
They do.
But it's a lot harder to hit.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
And
you
if
don't
you
get
hit someone at direct range, you'll get it damaged as well. Junkrat not anymore.
Well, Junkrat would 2 fucking bombs is gonna be fucking retarded on defenses.
Yes.
If you know what you're
Yep.
doing.
They could
Wow.
invest all of that.
They
Non-committal.
Wow, that's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, they got really ticked off at him at this
Now
point.
imagine if he had a
And he just
second
went
bomb.
right back up
Yep.
there.
If he had a second
And
bomb.
that monkey's still chasing him. Completely not giving a crap about point, just chasing him around. Because he's that angry with him.
And they're gonna use up 2 of those ults for literally nothing.
Yep. That's the best thing about Junkrat is not only does he can strip away the resources just by blowing you up, but he can tick you off to the point because you're just like, this character that requires so little skill, to most, at least that's what most people consider no skill, is ruining them, and it's ticking them off to the point that they don't care.
He's upset.
He loves doing this to people.
Well, I mean, he's a Junkrat main.
Yeah.
You kind of have a little crazy side to be a Junkrat main.
I'm not, and I love doing this to people. I've done it to people as mercy too, they just can't kill me, and then they just start hunting me down. And I usually have Roddy with me, and probably Lee and Polar, and they're ruining them as they chase me because I'm just going to them, and they're immediately murdering them. Because they're so used to, oh hey, Rin's flanked me, I better kill them. Because somebody's probably chasing her.
Everyone, stick together. We can do this.
He is a little crazy too. He killed himself!
Shit. Playing Hanamura point 2.
Alright, where's the other one? Not that
So
one.
basically, we just learn how to Junkrat defend on that.
It's not even the...
It's a matter of controlling the 2 upper areas so that you can have full view of each direction that they're coming from and being able to react at the right time.
Yes, here's the next video also. But the point of this one, also my main point is that you have to be very patient about it, because it's gonna get boring, but it's gonna work. So you don't want to move out of position because you're like, oh, I'll just get like 1 pick and oh, you're dead.
Yeah, positioning and timing seem to be fundamental aspects of this.
For you.
This one is the King's Row that made me
Yeah.
extremely excited.
Sploosh.
Oh.
In the wise words of Pam, sploosh.
Is this running for everybody?
I've got it paused right now.
I gotta
okay.
pause right now,
But
yeah.
it's on the 2 second.
There we
There we
go.
go.
Do you like what shared on Facebook? I'd rather not. Stop asking.
Oh, also pause it real quick.
Okay.
Also, keep in mind that he will say things that are very, very useful, so you should definitely like listen to him even when he's like laughing maniacally. He'll occasionally say something that's very insightful.
Oh, you can full screen.
Like 30 points.
Sweet. I didn't realize you could full screen this.
No.
Yeah, all momentum in Overwatch is edited.
Yep.
In fact, if I'm running forward and someone uses a concussive mine on me and I still run forward, even though it knocks me back, I will go farther forward than backwards by the time I land.
I really hope they do
forget
fix that
your
about
superpower
Junkrat,
question.
though.
I forget what it is. I don't know what my
What?
superpower would be.
The concussive mine. You have full control of yourself when you're booped into the air by Junkrat's concussive mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it should be directional.
Yeah, but it's not, unfortunately.
Well,
It
because
takes
then
them
the
a
thing
lot.
is terrain kills would be retarded if you
It probably would be, yeah.
Because like Lucio would just become ridiculous as well.
30 or 42, 60 something.
I feel like there should be a slow-mo
I can
when you
try
get hit
a
by
new
that,
flick
like
that I've
since it's
been
a
practicing.
concussion mine, you know?
And it has a high chance of failing horribly and I die.
He's talking about the flank that he showed, right?
Yeah, I love that thing. I tried to do it, but I failed at it.
It'll be easier now.
It'll be a lot easier for him. It'll take less time, basically.
Well, yeah, because he'll drop it and then go immediately.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have to wait like he does now.
But see, they're running the same comp that you usually guys are Reinhardt and Zarya as well. But see, they immediately go for the hotel because they're holding on point. So it's better for a Zarya and a Reinhardt to hold closer to point between the
Right.
building and the hotel.
Mhm.
But there's the hotel. you have to have something in there to keep them going through there.
Right.
In this case, it's him. And he does it so beautifully. Like right now, I think he's doing reviewer VODs. Yeah, I think right now he's still on Twitch reviewing his subs. Because his subs send videos and he reviews them and tells them this, and this about how they did in their game.
Yeah, I can't wait till Overwatch adds the replay system. That's probably the first thing that's on their priority right now because they got a version going in for
I think I can make
Worlds.
it back. We killed 2. One died right after me.
So hopefully that
Zaya's
works
not
out
super
really
good,
well
but
for them,
they're
and then they can just implement it immediately. That way we can watch back stuff in a team and like do a theater mode like in Halo.
Fuck, that would be that's a hell of a power.
Oh, missed it.
It's very hard to go into that hotel though, because it's very easy for them to also spam into there. You have to be very careful. He doesn't like it when people overextend. He really doesn't like it when people overextend like that.
Well, there's no reason to. Like, the problem is the Reinhardt, he hit an Earth Shatter on a couple.
Yeah.
So he thought, oh, I'm gonna dive in now.
He's not playing fully into the hotel either because he knows how to angle his bombs. Now McCree's getting cross with him.
Yeah, man, Shiva with nano boost, you can't kill me!
He's occasionally pushing forward, but he knows exactly when to pull back to.
Well, it's when the team's moving forward. You know, he's got to support him.
And McCree's gonna be gunning for me, I know it.
Biggest thing to do.
Who was Daddy Sandwich?
No idea. These things assign random names.
Alright.
You can add your own name.
I hate that fucking
Can't wait for that cooldown.
Only 4 of us is in here. Whoever the 5th person was left.
I don't think we ever had a 5th.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Well, there's me, Neo, Magnus, Caboose, and Allie. That's 5. Oh wait, it says there's 5 people here. So there's just a random 6th person? I don't know. Oh well.
They gotta be pissed at me. And you know what? I know there
Could be someone in the Discord too, because the link is there.
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
sorry.
alt tab looking around, but
No! They've gone dive. But the thing of it is that it's not going to last long. How have they always been going dive and it's just failing miserably? I think it was just failing miserably, actually. Because this is more or less what South Korea was doing. But I think this was before the South Korea versus Kongdu happened.
That was a good one.
But the thing with the hotel room is you can't state it completely because it is such a small room and hard to maneuver, and if someone gets in there and manages to get a few shots on you, unless you have a healer on you, it'll be very hard for you to get them dead before you.
right, you gotta like play it as your sort of.
You have to rotate around it.
I already do that.
Yeah.
Like if they start coming in too close, you gotta want to back up a little bit, but not too far, while still making sure you're throwing grenades at them.
Right, because they can't come through without giving up their cover and their small health pack, and if they stay in there, though, it's just like a bomb trap.
Completely, because you can angle the bomb to hit where the health pack would be, which is where you would be, because you need that health pack, because you probably got hit at least by one Junkrat bomb.
Right.
Especially with him, he's actually good at his aiming, so it makes it even harder.
Right, Overwatch says, I love your Junkrat plays. Oh, I love your Twitch chat plays. Thank you. After the demon change, she's gonna be more of a bully. I don't give a fuck how big of a bully she is. Less defensive matrix, I could care less. Oh, the new flank. Are you excited?
Yes.
I'm excited for the new flank. Problem is, there's a bit of setup time. How do I keep myself from getting tilted? I just keep playing. Like, I don't know. I'm very mellow about it.
He's also a total goofball when he's not sleep deprived. He's about as sleep deprived as you and Allie are right now.
Nice.
The problem is the setup takes a long time. Don't fucking spoil this.
Wow.
Oh, boys, we did it.
Oh god, that was close.
That's retarded.
Literally, he was the reason why they won this game, to be totally honest. At least as quick as they did, simply because he got those picks so early, and it helped get the extra picks.
Oh, shit, boys. That was sexy. Give me that point.
I can't really give you guys too much information on like an attack on this map because that flank is literally the reason why they won so quickly, because they helped get that point.
Well, we're generally pretty good at attacking that point. The only time when it has affected us negatively is if Ollie and I can't get picks on the initiation.
That's why it works.
That's pretty much what usually happens. Then we stall out. Like if we can't get through, like Maze will sometimes give us trouble.
Oh yeah, Maze always a problem.
Especially against our comp, because we're not very mobile.
No,
And
you're
the-
not
and the
mobile at all.
walls can-
That's one issue that I've been trying to work around a bit. Now,
Oh, you could change that by having a flanker like a Genji or a Tracer.
Soldier. Soldier too. Soldier is a very good flanker. Alright, here's the take out most of the evening, but is the best video in the world. This is the one that you watched, Allie. You're
I
still
wish
there.
the play of the game would have been playing. That would
Oh,
have been
but not sure. If we have an hour and a half. Do you have specific points in this one?
Nope, just the whole freaking thing is just pure beauty.
Okay. Well, what I would recommend in this case, rather than me streaming the vid without commentary, I can leave the link in the description of our stream of this. So at least everyone will have access to it. But, yeah, so everyone who's on this call and in this room, check out the general chat in...
I already saw it.
Well, yes.
Yeah, Allie watched it. I
Yeah,
watched it
you
probably
spoke to it a while
5
ago.
times.
I'm a good noodle.
He's a good noodle, yes.
Oh, you've got...
So are we not living it or what?
Say again?
So what are we doing now?
Well, did you have any other points as far as, like, so we have the Junkrat and showing the effectiveness of how we can help on certain points. Did you have any
Well, the
hero-specific
reason-
stuff, or?
Well,
Like
the
for-
reason why I wanted to go over this video is because it is your core value team. They run a Zarya and a Reinhardt for the entire thing. Literally all their games have a Zarya Reinhardt. That's why this video was what I wanted to go over specifically, because I can like help you guys design something around, because literally I have to design your guys' team around the two of you.
Got
And
it.
that's what created is they have a Zarya and a Reinhardt that's freaking amazing. Like Zumba is probably one of the best Zaryas I've ever seen. I can't remember the name of the Reinhardt, but he was amazing, and clearly he helped Allie a lot, considering he tested out that Reinhardt skills and ruined people.
Yeah.
He...
I was trying to
I
think
only had
how...
Lucio heals too. We didn't have any bursts.
You didn't have any heals?
We had a Mercy that switched off to McCree, that switched off to Anna, that switched off. It wasn't constant healing, so I was playing like considerably.
That also helps, because you're forced to play conservatively.
Well, okay, I'll load it up here anyways. If there's any, like, rough time slots that you can think of where, like, some fights happened, or...
I would have to go through it.
Okay.
It's at the. For some reason, it's an hour and 16 instead of the beginning.
The state of things.
Go
Yeah,
back
it's-
to the beginning. Alright, everybody at the beginning?
Yep.
Yep, I can see his face.
Yes. He has a lovely face, doesn't he?
You know what? Fuck it.
Okay.
Fuck it. So, what the composition is running? Reinhardt? Zarya? Reaper? I thought you were running Junkrat.
This is attack, first round, I believe. He also likes listening to Korean commentators.
Okay, that's on defense. So what they're running, and how this is an anti-dive count. Reinhardt, Zarya. First of all, can't essentially D-matrix. Right? It's I don't want to say it's confirmed damage, but it's pretty much.
It's confirmed damage for you too.
Yep.
It's very highly confirmed, right? Reinhardt goes through shields, goes through defensive matrix, so if something attacks him or jumps on, if someone dives on you, he can just hit him around. You can just smack him around. Zarya doesn't get defense matrix. She can also provide support to whoever gets jumped on. Then we have the Reaper.
And this call thing takes up a lot of bandwidth.
Fuck shit up. You dive on Reaper.
Sorry, what?
It's gonna kill
I'm
you.
hitting 180 ms right now while watching this video with you guys.
Right? So the Reaper is there to apply pressure to force.
Yeah, if you want, well, this is going to be up on
And remember,
our
dive
YouTube channel. I can
relies
post
on
it
global.
after
Relies
it's
on this first jump being incredibly
through,
important, getting him
so you
killed.
won't miss anything.
Along
If it's
with
getting
jump,
too crazy.
essentially you have
No,
to
I'm able to watch it. I'm just
that takes one
playing
round
training mode.
equation.
Oh.
So now you have 3 heroes back. McCree. What is McCree good with? Flashbang. As long as your defensive as long as the McCree doesn't flashbang the D.Va, or it gets eaten by the D.Va's defensive matrix, you can stop a flanker in their tracks. If you're really good with it and you can get the D.Va or the Winston stunned, you can just burst him down. That 1 second that they're stunned.
Alright, everyone pause. 212. So, I liked the attack version because I was thinking, oh, Neo's is a good hit scan. He'll be good with McCree. But when someone's flanking, someone also has to turn to make sure that McCree is fine. So I was thinking either support, or Magnus can turn around and bubble McCree if he's being jumped on by a Genji or a Tracer, or both. Because sometimes I've seen dive comps where the D.Va and Winston jump in front and the Genji and the Tracer flank around. It's a little bit harder on King's Row though, but like on the King of the Hill map, that's incredibly easy. So if you were to run that particular comp, that's a good suggestion, is to make sure that the McCree is fine on his own.
Okay. Yeah, usually, at least in our experience when we've gone up against other teams in scrims when they run dive, they usually go straight at our heals, or if Neo's on Soldier and he's playing forward, but that latter part probably won't happen as much when we get more practice in. But yeah, they usually dive on our support backline. They usually don't go for our DPS.
McCree is, particularly McCree though, he is very slow. He's not nearly as mobile as Soldier is, so he'd probably still be with the supports, which is where he should be in this situation. Because the flashbang would help, the heals will keep him alive. If he has a Lucio, that will keep him mobile. The Mercy or the Honor or whatever can keep him going, and still support from back.
Right, and not to mention the fact that he's also a magnet for, well, being, at least the supports anyway, are a magnet for those divers and flankers at the same time, so he can use that crowd control.
Yeah, so these people are South Korean, so they're also amazingly good, so that means that flashbang is going to keep them from being flanked. Alright, play now.
We're going to tear you the fuck up. As for Lucio Ana, I honestly think most supports would fill the role, but I think Lucio Ana is actually quite important actually in this comp. And the reason for that is, we discussed this earlier with dive comp. What does dive
This
comp
Genji
do?
is so good.
It seeks to burst one character out completely.
What Genji?
Destroy them.
Lilo and I are in a game right now.
So you can actually
We've been playing this whole time.
But I have 2 monitors, so like.
If you jump on something squishier, well, there's Zarya shield to back him up, and then they kind of get burst healed, or they get disengaged a little bit. The 200 hit point classes get disengaged a little bit. Buy the tanks time for them to attack the other tanks, and then come back into it. So let's actually.
Plus they had Rujehong as their Ana, and he's an amazing Ana. He really is, man. It's scary.
Oh,
Yeah.
something that we should probably bring up: the whole rotation for when the switching getting dived, like behind King's Row.
I'm not sure exactly what you mean.
Here, pause it while we
It's-
listen.
If you can find that part, man.
We're actually there at that part right now. They currently tried to dive on the backline, and the Reinhardt charged the monkey and murdered him brutally in the theater.
True.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thing. But yeah, it's especially important that when the supports are being dived on is that people rotate, but at the same time not fully leave their backs up. Chills. What is the sound that I'm hearing that's kind of irritating?
It's me growling.
General
Stop.
frustration.
Stop.
Sorry.
Calm yourself.
I'm mad.
Calm yourself, Neo. What's frustrating?
It's just the Genji that it just ulted and he was in my trap and nobody shot him.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a similar experience last night. But anyway, I will not take. I had a. Okay, just go with the video.
Let's play the video now.
Fine, coming into
Charge.
Daddy Sandwich's back.
Charge is really good if you can land it. It is a high risk, high reward skill, but if you can land it, and I've seen some good Reinhardts. I've seen some Reinhardts catch a double jumping Genji in midair with a charge. This is the whole thing. It's a difficult matchup. It's a difficult thing to pull off.
Oh, that Genji yesterday. Oh my god. Poor Genji.
Which I think Ali is good enough to pull something like that off.
Let me see. A lot of damage coming out. And they just push on point. Reaper hiding behind the shield. And with essentially just pure damage because of the picks, the pure damage of their comp is incredibly terrifying. If you see a Reaper behind a Reinhardt shield, and here, see? Reaper forces the defensive matrix up, Zarya gets free shots on it.
Yep.
There it is. There's the dive on top. The Winston can't sit in all this. He just can't. So, again, we saw Reaper force
I missed kill.
out.
Pause.
And Deanna.
And now the defensive
So,
matrix is essentially being all used up.
with that comp, you don't always need a Junkrat. You don't always need a Reaper. You can do a Pharah, but you need something that can force out the defensive matrix and shred through the Winston bubble and shred through the Winston. Preferably, it would be a Reaper on attack and a Junkrat on defense, because those two burst damage are probably the best in the game right now. Doomfist, he can't really do anything for you. Genji, he honestly takes too long to get through something like that. Soldier, same thing, takes too long. But those two are the best damage in the game currently. I'm trying to go through characters. The Zarya, if the Diva's stupid, she'll use up her defense matrix trying to play block a Zarya, but I don't think you'll see that many stupid Divas in comp.
You'd be surprised.
Well, we can't always rely on people's stupidity.
True.
But yeah, that's the point to that, is to when someone's diving you. Yeah, Pharah is also an option, which Pharah is absolutely amazing when you're running a Mercy. And Pharah is also good when they can't handle something from above, because they can't jump on something that's too high for them to jump up to.
Right.
It can annoy her, but then she can just like start spamming down at them, and that'll also waste the defense matrix. But she also has to be very, very good at aiming. Like, she has to be very good at what she does. Like, you need a legit Pharah main to get someone to waste all of their stuff on a Pharah. Now, a Reaper that's hanging out with the tanks and the supports that they're wanting to kill, that's going to shred right through everything they send at them to try and block that. And then there's the Zarya and the Reinhardt that's going to murder them for wasting all of that on her, but they have no choice but to do that. It's either you do that or you die to the Reaper in your face or the Junkrat in your face, but if you do that, you die to the Zarya or the Reinhardt in your face. You try and jump on the support's Reaper, turns around, you waste that trying to defend yourself from the Reaper. You may lose the support, you may probably not lose the support because the Reaper burst damage is going to go down quickly. Plus, the Zarya and the Reinhardt have probably, at least one of them has probably turned around by then and started attacking you from behind. So if you stay like decently close together, you won't have much of a problem with dive. But you need some serious damage. But you can get serious damage with the Zarya, but you have to go through a team fight to get that charge, to have that damage. Reaper has it immediately.
True.
Alright, continue.
They can't be tricky, they can't leave you alone, they have to deal with you because you're right there in front of them, applying direct pressure. This applies to tanks, right? Like, if you want to keep a tank busy, just sit there in front of him with your gun. He kind of has to play defensive, right? That's his job, is to hold this ground. The pressure on the D.Va forces defensive matrix out. And essentially, with a long-lasting comp, Reinhardt and Zarya, if they can't get bursted down, they're going to outlast the defensive matrix, right? That's one of their few forms of damage mitigation. Another form is Winston Bubble, which at 600 hit points, if 2 or 3 people are hitting it, it's going to get destroyed quickly. And what do they got? A Kree Reaper. They can pop the bubble very, very quickly. Probably like 2 to 3 shots each and it's done. But 2 shots for McCree, he shoots at point. McCree is 0.5 seconds. Mr. 0.6. Reaper, I think. I want to say it's a little bit less than a second. It'll be 140. Yeah, I mean they can get it down to like 3-4 shots. It's very good. Probably a couple seconds. But yes, so they keep pressure on the D.Va. They keep pressure on the tanks. Force the tanks. They can't use their mobility, right? If they dive anywhere, they're going to get blown up. So they kind of have to stick with their team. But dive really sucks kind of sticking with your team because they have to expend all of their resources. When their resources are used up, bad fucking day. Is this what Jeff means by community innovating? Yes. The thing is for the community to innovate, you actually have to be able to play other heroes. Like off base. Oh man, this fucking slowness is killing me. Fuck it, make it worse. Like I said, we don't need 1080 to make fun of someone. Is there a?
I can go check the YouTube.
I kind of did tonight's stream all willy nilly, so I'm not super prepared for it. I think there is. Yes, hold on.
Someone.
Yeah, sorry for not being super professional tonight, but I did. Once I saw the Reddit thread and I saw this composition come up, I was like, man, can't post links in chat though. It just messed me up.
Go to 10 or 9:40 actually.
Can you do something?
940, alright. There we go.
There you go.
Does it keep pausing? Oh my god.
Yeah.
There we go.
You good?
This is where we're about at.
I don't understand why they were a soldier on the fence. I don't know, fair.
Yeah, it's a little strange. Especially against
So
that
the nice
comp.
thing about all of this is that, look, dive comp.
Yeah, soldier has nothing. I mean, if they want to use the
Sun Tzu
flank
type
groups,
stuff.
maybe, but
Where's my Sun Tzu? I don't know where it's at, but I know what he's gonna say. Use your enemy's strength. Like, make the enemy's strength their weakness and make your weakness your strength. What is one of the strongest aspects of dive map? Dive, right? They all jump on you. So you actually don't need to make a move. And that's really, really good. In some certain sense. They can pick their fights. But look, as they dive, well, they get ulted because of a little bit of an ult disadvantage. They get 2 picks because of it. And now the rest, because dive composition needs everyone, you take out a couple pieces of it, and then you can just continue forward. It's not a big fucking deal.
What a McCree soldier on defense. That was just retardation there. No wonder the South Koreans are laughing.
The enemy has to initiate.
Into a Rhine shield is very
So they
strange.
use McCree off the zone.
Wait a minute. They
start
dropped
right there again.
Rhine
I don't know if
patch.
anyone saw this.
Pause it. Huh?
Did they drop the Rhine patch for the shield?
No, they did not.
God damn it!
What patch with the shield?
PTR currently has Reinhardt's patch, which if you hold down the some button or something, you can you can look behind yourself without moving.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be hella
Don't you
useful.
hold right and left at the same time?
Something like that.
Yep.
Alright, play.
But you can see D.Va being forced to use defensive matrix, right? They have to provide some type of damage mitigation. Right there, the bubble lasts very, very low duration. D.Va's already using up her resources, and they're just gonna back out. But the concept of that should start figuring things out for you. You're like, wait a second, we can start fighting this. Flanking Zarya, and now what do they got, right? Dive comp needs the whole dive, and this a solo grab on a soldier on the high ground. Why? Everyone says solo alts are the worst thing in Overwatch. Never do them. I say the opposite. If you kill one person, there's a 100% chance to kill someone. Why? It makes it a 5v6. Or in this case, when you are already dead, it makes it like a 5v2. You take out the high ground initiative. You take out their only flank, and now they're only left with a Lucio D.Va on point against your 4 or 5 people. You get the point. And everyone's like, well, that's still a waste of ult. You think anyone gives a fuck with 4 minutes left?
What's the fact that it's a soldier
You ult
specifically?
that shit, and you take that point right now.
High ground advantage.
Well, high ground
Yeah,
advantage
so-
as well. If he throws his
D.Va
health pack
resources
down
stand
on the
out.
cart with the
Like,
Lucio and
if you
D.Va,
use
that
them
can
hard, they get the
that can
point.
eat up a lot
Oh,
more
yeah.
time than it's worth.
Yes. Like they confirmed their point when they took out that soldier.
You just do have
Yeah,
to win the
I
fight.
guess
This
so,
is
but they were
before
still already-
Zarya patch, by the way.
You
Two
have
people
to
This is
up.
win
before the
fight.
Zarya buff and the Reinhardt buff.
Oh, word.
I wouldn't even call it greedy plays. It's not even a greedy play to do that. What they're doing is just making sure they win. They're actually being the opposite of greedy. They're being like, there's a word.
I disagree there. I mean, she is a little bit with that grab, but she can get it so quickly back against this particular comp.
Very relaxed with their ults, and they're just like, yeah, use it. I'll get it up in the next fight.
That's, yeah, exactly.
Okay, we don't have it for the next fight, but who cares? We got the point.
They have 4 minutes. They have plenty of time to get another grab.
Zeta 700, liberal. That's what I was looking for.
Oh my god,
Did
focus.
good guess, but no, I was not looking for the word Baldy. I would actually remember.
Wait, this is
They're
Crow?
quite liberal with their ults.
Yep,
Why?
this is
Because
Crow.
of the time
That's
bank.
okay. Cool.
Don't forget about this aspect of Overwatch. Time management, very, 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 very big. You can be liberal with your ults if you have a huge time bank, and if it secures you a point or something.
And there he goes, he's diving on the support.
Also,
Dude.
what stopped,
He turned away from the
secondary
supports!
effect of the Lucio,
Yeah.
the
He had no profitable
So you guys actually see me do that.
way
with
to
Junk-
go.
Wait, I think he... Wait, go back to 1425.
Can work against dive. Can work against-
1425.
You guys saw
Yeah,
me
one
put
second.
things in hit more than a couple times.
Okay, play.
Yep, 1 second. Okay.
You
Is everything okay?
have a huge time.
I think it's buffering.
bank,
There we go.
and if it secures you a point or some major type of...
So Lucio booped him
Also,
away
it
from
stopped
him.
this is a secondary effect of the Lucio.
It's pretty rad.
The boop. So you guys actually see me do that with Junkrat a lot, right? And that should trigger some things. Hey, Junkrat can work against Dive, can work against Winston. You guys saw me put Winston.
You can do that as Zarya too, but much less
He'll dive on me. And
noticeably.
Mm-hmm.
It can be helpful, but
It was not enough boops to take care of a Winston away from the supports.
Now Winston can't dive on you. Also with boop, Winston has a hard time diving. These two things are both...
it is such a tempo play.
No, in the future. So Winston gets pushed out. Their kind of initiation, even though it's based on 5 second between abilities, was kind of done. Right, and now they have to back off and they have to re-engage, which is difficult.
What's very important about this, I'm going to pause it here too to bring up a point.
You're gonna pause it then.
Yep.
Good night.
So
Good night. Check on the babies. Alright. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so specifically what he was saying with the dive comp having, being very...
Sorry.
Being very tied to their cooldown abilities because their movement is what makes them strong to be able to focus down specific targets. We have to be coordinated enough in this comp to properly focus those down before they come off of cooldown. I notice a lot of times when we have fights, we'll win them against dive if we do, because the divers are ineffective. Because if we end up winning them, we will see the Winston getting his second or third jump off or a second bubble off. And I think that if we get the focus fire down against these dives, in coordination with the tempo plays of either Junkrat trap or bombs, then being able to finish off the trash damage, or a Lucio boop, or just straight up shredding the Winston shield, then immediately capitalizing on that and then just dismantling it. Because if they even have a damaged piece that's flying around, then he's going to get his ability back up, whatever it is, and that's going to get more ult charge to their healers and all that stuff, so it kind of snowballs from there. But
yeah, so that ties in with the damage that you need, because the Winston, you need to kill the Winston within 6 seconds, because in that 6 seconds he will have his jump back. His bubble, I believe, is 9 seconds, 12 seconds.
Yeah,
I'm not too worried about that. It's much too long to worry about. But the jump is what you need to run, because if he jumps, he escapes. But if you can burst him down, which is the Reaper can kill a Winston with good aim very, very quick, especially if he's got backup. She's going to have the McCree. The McCree has a good burst damage as well. Anna's behind. She's healing, probably occasionally hitting that Winston. Zarya and Reinhardt may not even have to worry much about that Winston, but they can turn and they can kill him. Or actually, the Reinhardt should never probably turn around. The Zarya should probably be the one to turn around. Or keep assisting the Reinhardt. It's kind of situational, it's just the Winston diving on you, in that situation. I don't think the tanks would need to turn around, because they have 2 burst damage plus 2 healers behind them.
Where it gets tricky, and where I myself have had a lot of issues when we get dove, is when it's more than one, because I feel like...
You don't know how to bubble.
Well, it's not that. It's so I still remember, Ollie, your specific, calls of after our Team Teal scrim, right? So you were feeling like you're just standing there with the shield up and not able to really do anything. So it's either you stand there and die without heals, or you go in and initiate and try to pin one of them, and you're going back into their lines, or our supports are getting dove, and it's I'm not sure which of those is going to happen. So it's I have to just kind of be looking all around, and that's retracting some of my damage, or a lot of my damage output ability, never mind calling out stuff. It's just
yeah, in this case, the more I think about it after hearing that, it would definitely be better to have something that has a lot of burst damage that can take care of a diving Winston and diving Diva with the support, so that you two could hold the front line.
So the reason I don't want to move forward or go and help, because I turn around, they have an Ana, I'm immediately getting slept.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like without you
slept or
bubbling
nading.
me.
Either way, it's gonna screw you.
So I want to be able to, like, if we can coordinate, I get bubbled, immediately turn around, charge one of our supports who's ever getting jumped on.
I don't know if we'd need to do that. The only reason is
No.
because here's the thing: if you turn around, we're losing your biggest value on a single diver. Everyone behind should be able to take care of that. And one thing that's also super important is if your shield is up, how's Anna gonna heal the Winston?
Yeah. She can't heal through shields. She can't heal through an enemy Winston bulb. She can't through. She's basically useless against the shield. So
Yeah.
if someone dives, she's screwed. So it would be best to make sure that you don't need to turn around.
And you're also our eyes on any flankers or healers coming from the front to support the Winston, because the Winston's going to be coming first most times, and Winston Diva going to be coming first most times. So if you see
it
something,
would most likely be followed up with the Lucio as well.
that's true. Can he boop through shields now still? I forget. They changed his
No, he
crap,
can't
so...
boop through
Oh, I thought he was
Yeah,
able to shoot
yeah,
down and
that's,
then make Reinhardt jump a little bit. Didn't they do that, or did they remove that?
No, if he can get get behind him or somehow underneath him, he can boop him, but he can't boop through the shield.
Yeah, no,
So-
you just have to be
Certain
good
that he
enough to like jump. You can kind of do it if you have elevation, I think. But
Like
still
if
not
you're
really
above
through the
him, yeah,
shield.
you could boop him, but it's gotta
Yeah.
get above him.
That was always my strategy when I played comp as Lucio. I would just like ruin everyone's positioning.
But yeah, we don't want you to have to turn around at all. You have a more advantaged stage if you're in front and not turning around. So we need. I wouldn't say we need the Zarya to turn around either. We just need something with enough damage, say a Reaper or a Junkrat, to be able to defend the supports, and the supports help the people that are defending them stay alive. Take out those two. That's 2 picks. 2 picks. We're fine. They've lost that team fight.
On that
Dive
note,
comp is useless.
right. I think that being the case, both DPS players need to be the ones focusing the back. Like,
Yeah.
us tanks up front, we can handle it and stay alive for long enough against
That was another thing.
Yeah.
So the things that I noticed in yours was that you were being dove in the very, very back, but it wasn't always by a dive character like a Winston. It was just like a Tracer or something else, and you didn't have anyone in the back with the supports, which is why I was like, I'm an A on the back line, but also have Neo as a soldier in the back line with him. Neo has good aim. He can keep an eye on a fair that's in the buff or pick at, and he can protect the Ana in the back line if, say, a Tracer gets behind or if anything like that.
blanket tracer, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Biotic field just laughs.
yeah. They're
Yeah,
screwed.
I've had this really bad habit of trying to be flanky all the time, or just like I just poke.
Well, a soldier
hard.
is good at
I-
flanking.
Yeah, I know, but it's still like a bad habit.
Yeah,
Like,
you shouldn't be doing that in defense, but in attack, it's a godsend.
yeah.
Also, I'll be right back in just a moment. I need to get something,
Okay.
and then we'll continue on with the video.
I don't know if I can last this whole time. I'll try. I'm just like dying.
It's gonna take like at least 6 hours, dude. We're only 15 minutes in.
No, I watched, so like I'm watching something else.
I'm messing around in custom while I'm listening.
I'm trying to get some more info on how other people play Reinhardt.
I'm just like nervously going through social media while hoping people give me a job. I'm wondering if I can increase my chances of getting a job just while on social media.
That's a little bit stressful.
Getting across the roofs of Ilios.
Yeah, I applied for a job at Sazerac today.
Ooh.
At where?
Sazerac. They own Buffalo Trace and a lot of other things. They actually own Fireball and Southern Comfort as well. But I'd just be like a sales rep for them. I don't know, one of their guys referred me and told me to put his name on my resume, so we'll see.
Is there a way to turn off the skyboxes? Or the barriers?
know you can hear me, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, the moment they reminded me that not to forget about the cats, I was like, yeah, you fuckers are going to bed without feeding them. Alright. Let's continue on the videos. Everybody ready?
Sounds good. You ready for me to unpause? Oh, you already
And
got
paused.
That was very good sleep.
Ryu Jae-hung is the best sleeper I've ever seen.
He is really good. He's just always so good.
There's a video on YouTube. I love it. It's called that Shadowburn is not allowed to use Nano Blade, or Ryu Jae-hung doesn't allow Nano Blade, something like that. So they, South Korea played against Russia, and Shadowburn, which is one of the best Genjis around, played Genji. And every single time he used Nano Blade, Ryu Jae-hung slept him. It was the best
Oh yeah, I
thing I've
remember
ever
seeing
seen.
that one.
There was enough of that happening they could make a montage. Alright, now play again.
Oh.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys. I downloaded the video. Oh, this is so good now. So, McCree's keeping the Winston at bay. Right? When he uses his bubble, he now has to play very, very safe. Diva saves his ass a bit right there. Again, this is where the
Yeah, this fight is just completely unwinnable for the dive.
All the classes right now can cover for each other.
Then yeah, within 30 seconds we have grab back up.
And they keep pushing it.
Go ahead. What are you saying?
Oh no, I was just commenting. I was saying that one, it's the dive team just can't do anything effectively right now. Like they come in with their abilities, they're on cooldown, and they can't finish the job to kill anybody, so they just have to wait, and then that's more time. And on top of that, we can see that the Zarya got her ult back within like 30 to 40 seconds.
Exactly, because they're wasting their resources, and the team is gaining their resources through that wasting. The Reaper's getting it. All of them have ult with the Reinhardt currently. You see in the top right corner, there's that little blue ball. That's because they have their ult. Currently, the Kongbu has two ults. It's McCree and Zenyatta. But they are getting their ult charge from the wasted resources that Kongbu is throwing at them with their shitty dive tech.
And then they just kind of push in.
Winston jumped on point.
Comes in,
They're backing up a little bit.
They kind of just have to poke.
But they already kind of dove on the point. Oh, there's the Zarya.
Dive comp is a lot less. Dive comp is actually pretty shit at trading. If you have both teams lined up like this and they're just poking at each other, dive comp's really, really bad at this. Why Diva has 4 seconds matrix, Winston has a bubble every 12 seconds, 600 damage. They can burst through that. So the idea is dive comp. Basically every 5-6 seconds they can dive. So as they're diving every 5 to 6 seconds, they're moving. But now what happens if their dive doesn't work? Well, they have to wait 5 seconds. That seems like a very small point of time, right? 5 seconds is not a very long time. But what happens is as they fail and they come back, the superior, essentially Reinhardt shield from Zarya, fill that 5-second gap, right? You can't actually dive out for 5 seconds, so we're just gonna bully you off the point. Right? They just kind of push them. Like, alright, we have superior damage, we have superior shields. Get the fuck off. Get the fuck off. And they just keep pushing. If they miss another, they try to dive again. They just keep pushing. It is death. It's not even death volley, but it is death volley. It's abusing the 5-second disadvantage. 5-second cooldown.
Now they only have. Oh, they just used the Lucio and the Zenyatta ult.
They're just out DPSing these guys.
Well, they essentially used every single one of their ults, but it was at the end, and they only had 2 ults. Well, they might have had 3 ults, but I missed it. At one point or another, the soldier switched to Genji, but you barely noticed because they were literally getting slaughtered. McCree was still there, but he wasn't doing anything. Zenyatta used his ult to kind of help against the Zarya ult, and then the Lucio used his ult immediately afterwards to try and buy them some extra time, but even they just shredded through the Lucio ult. Because the Lucio ult is good, but with that much damage, you won't survive.
What I think should have been, I mean, might not be the best to critique these guys, they know a lot more, but with the dive being so ineffective, I mean, I'm
Fisher
surprised they
switched
didn't.
off.
Well, yeah, they're switching off, but if they were going to stick with it like they did, how come they didn't? Right, so with the dive, you need to force that 5v6 as quickly as possible. And why they wouldn't have, like, they obviously couldn't get it done normally, as we saw through this whole matchup. So why not use a support ult to initiate to secure that 5v6 right off the bat? And yeah, it might be a little bit greedy to try to get that trade. It would still have bought them a lot more time off the clock than what they did here.
This is something that Curl makes fun of people a lot for. So people in the current meta is dive. People besides South Korea believe that dive is the only thing you can do. If you do anything besides dive, you're throwing. And Crow points this out. Currently, the South Korean picks, those are throws. You're throwing the game. And in Grandmaster, if you're not playing dive meta, unless you're someone like Raxu, who's literal god at Hanzo, you're gonna be ridiculed for not playing dive. So in this situation, I think they were pissed off because they were losing, even though they were doing their dive count correctly, but it was being taken apart. And then I think they attempted to switch a couple times, like what they did with the McCree soldier or something. I don't know what they were doing, but I think they were so thrown off at how they were being completely ruined, that I think they just lost it.
Okay. I meant more of like an overall strategy-wise rather than them personally, but...
Yeah. Well, that was
I feel like that's their only recourse would have been to do that because they just got steamrolled otherwise.
Yeah, but they didn't do that, unfortunately.
Super easy. I'm trying to remember my controls.
Oh, okay. This is on the 10. Or this is with them defending, which is the most important one.
Alright, this does 10 seconds. So now we see it.
This is beautiful.
Oh, do we see it? Reinhardt, Zarya, Reaper, Junkrat. Some of my viewers know that when I talk about heroes in Overwatch, I give them a verb. Alright, and Junkrat's verb is to break. That's what he does. That is what the character represents. So what does that mean, he breaks? It means a formation. If the enemy has a formation, it breaks it up, right? That's what Junkrat does. If you're all together, he puts shots right in the middle there, you're like, alright, I gotta split up. Breaks formation. Also, specifying, breaks formation. He also breaks armor, right? He strips classes of their armor, because he doesn't care about it. You do 5 less damage against armor. Alright, I do 115 damage instead of 120. Big whoop. One shot, most of Winston's armor's gone. 2 shots, most of Diva's armor. Well, Diva's, I think all Diva's armor is gone. What does this open up to? Shotguns. Reaper. Hawk. This is why me and Fuey, when we do the cannon combo, work so goddamn well. If he hooks someone, in those 1 to 2 seconds, I can strip them of their armor, and Fuey gets 2 shots off with a shotgun on someone without armor, and the tank just essentially comes. This is what Junkrat seeks to do. And from the video, it works very good. Also, there's the concept, and this is what I said in my first AMA, is that Junkrat is support. He is DPS support. Now, a lot of people thought I was...
Yeah, I buy that.
The reason why he's DPS support...
Area denial and all
you can
that.
attack the back lines from your own back lines. Meaning what? 0 commitment. I can attack anywhere, wherever I want. I can lob grenades around corners, behind a shield, get behind your shield. It's very, very low committal. Not only that, but if I do hit my shots, right, that's everyone's argument. Junkrat can hit a bunch of people, but he can't finish them off. What does finish people off? Darius spam? Right?
So before we continue on, this is the thing that I wanted to talk, or I reminded Neo of, is that you're non-committal and then you ran off on your own down that hallway all by yourself and got murdered. With Neo still listening.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, that was a major point for me. You did well as Junkrat until you got, I don't want to say impatient, but I think you got too excited.
Yeah. I just like poked out a little bit, and then like it was over.
Yeah,
It's just
you
over.
can't poke as Junkrat.
Yeah.
Junkrat is not a poker. You can poke, but you can poke a mile away. You don't need to go that far in.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really go that. Like, I went maybe like 3 or 4 feet. Like, I
Yeah.
just went through the doorway, and that was like all I needed to just get fucked.
It was really fast.
Yeah.
Did you get flashbang there too? I think.
Yeah.
It was like the second that you were there, it was like boom.
Yeah, which is surprising, but yeah, I mean, it was it.
I guess it shows how quickly it'll happen, but
Yeah, that's why for Junkrat, he is much better long range. If he's doing close range because you've been dived on, and you can easily remedy that, and you can destroy them while you're remedying that.
Yeah, there was literally no reason for me to be in there, though.
No.
I was like trying to save the other team, but like that was stupid. It didn't make sense.
It's okay. We've learned from that mistake. I just
Yeah,
wanted to remind everyone of that. That is also another thing is that you don't want to get impatient or poke by yourself, ever. Poking is fine if that's your class, you're able to do that.
yeah.
But you don't want to do that by yourself, unless maybe you're like a Tracer, or maybe a Pharah.
Or you have bubbles to maintain charge with.
Yes, or bubbles to maintain charge with, but that's a second bubble, so you need to get in and get out immediately.
Oh yeah.
Alright, continuing on now.
Reinhardt, Fire Strike. That if I hit someone once, they're pretty much dead. If a Reaper is on them, they're toast. If you hit someone once, Reaper's gonna clean them up in seconds. So there's that whole thing going for the composition as well. Junkrat essentially can defend his supports because of Mine and Trap, while supporting his essentially people that have to go in deeper. So if Zarya's a little bit farther away and Reinhardt's a little bit farther away, both are on corners, he can support them. I consider Junkrat, this is going to sound crazy, but he's a support flanker. Meaning he shouldn't be flanking alone.
His
In
damage
this video,
travels.
You're going to see where Junkrat essentially plays exactly like how I play, except his team's with him. His team plays with him.
Yeah. Hold on. Just gonna
It works to
quick
great
pause
success.
here too. Like that Junkrat as the flanker point, it's very similar to how Pharah works, except basically it's just opening up additional angles on your opponents, either forcing, like when he was talking about being able to lob them behind enemy shields or just around corners and stuff like that. Your opponent's gonna have to, they either ignore it. I mean, it's the same in principle, right? Exactly.
They can't ignore it. They can't ignore that. They can't ignore Pharah. The only difference between Junkrat and Pharah is that Junkrat can be sneakier than a Pharah can.
That's true, because you don't know where exactly he is. You can't really hear him as much from the distance, and you can't expect where the mines are going to come from.
A Pharah is more noticeable in the sense that if you see they have a Pharah in their lineup, you're going to be looking up more. You're not going to look up to check for a Junkrat.
Yeah, people are gonna like make sure you have a scan and change their composition, and
Yeah.
etc. And like it's always like a game changing thing immediately over the Junkrat, not necessarily.
And there's far
Nobody
harder
ever takes
of
him
a.
seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you think, okay, on the list of things of when far is a problem, there are a list of comp switches you can take to deal with it, but there isn't really as easy a one to do it for Junkrat. There's not like some specific, this counters it.
There actually is a specific counter that people think works, and that's Pharah, but not if he's in a small room. Yeah. That's the stupid thing, is that people think she's a counter. She's really not. Sure, if he's out in the open, he's kind of screwed against a Pharah.
But he's not playing it right.
Yeah, you're not playing it right if you're out in the open and
Because
there's
you
an
can
empty Pharah.
still support your team by being undercover because you have the range.
You have the range, you have the ability to angle your shots off walls and aim them towards a specific wall.
And
So that's only against stupid Junkrats.
And even if not, right? Even if you're not able to somehow reach the opponent's line, they're likely, especially in this meta, to be playing some sort of a dive. You can still be protecting your back line with your shots.
Yeah, you can
even
protect
if you're not
your
supporting the front
supports.
line. Yeah.
You can sit there with the support. Someone jumps in. Oh, you're going to get blown the fuck up right now, and I've got healing on my side.
Well, and it's also really easy, and especially now that he has 2 concussion lines. Like,
Oh yeah, it makes it so
Mobility
much easier.
and
This is
damage.
before that. This is even before that, and they already wrecked people.
Yeah. So.
Alright, are we ready?
Let's go.
Yeah, I got it. Weird, I have to exit full screen to unpause it.
So these casters, I don't know what they're saying because I don't know Korean, but they're just like, who the fuck are they playing, Junkrat? They have a Pharah, right? Oh shit, guys. Pharah counters Junkrat. There's nothing.
I love listening to him.
It is funny.
So this is good disruption by Pharah. Junkrat gets out because he is non-committal, right? He burst in damage, right? Damage and mobility. Reaper right there, he just flanked really quick, gotta kill him then. So at this point, it's kind of the tables are turned. People are like, Pharah's good, but she's just feeding the Zarya now. This is why we talk about projectiles when we talk about Zarya. People ask me, Pro, what can you do against Zarya? I feel like I just feed her shields. Or I'm just like, Zarya's gonna get a charge no matter what. Right? No, Junkrat feeds Zarya shields. That's the reason why Junkrat can't be played. The truth is, Zarya feeds off of everything. If it's a projectile, Zarya's gonna feed off of it. In fact, Pharah has 100 damage, 120 damage projectiles. It's the same as Junkrat. She's gonna get her charge. That's why we analyze stuff at a fundamental layer and not like stupid ideas. Saying Junkrat feeds Zarya. Well, what would feed Zarya? It's a projectile. Alright, so Zarya feeds off of projectiles. And now we can actually apply this knowledge for other things.
And they did have a hit scan, technically.
And now here's a good, tactic. They're getting
good joke.
Right? But because of the because of the burst heal,
she gets it.
Lucio.
So, as you can see there, cover is the perfect play to stop a Pharah. When that Pharah tries to get behind, the Reinhardt can stay forward and you can just completely brutalize the Pharahs, and I'm sure you're very good at that by now. That was directed towards you, Magnus.
I can if she can. If she's really good, she'll stay out of the way. If she gets anywhere within my range, she's done.
But she has to get in range of you to get in range of the supports because they went undercover. That was the thing for that.
Hopefully.
Well, in this case, yes, because that was the cover they took, which was directly behind the point, which is behind the Zarya, away from an Ana's range to heal the Pharah. She also has to get low enough to shoot them. Most situations, you just get undercover. She has to go down there, or she leaves, which is smart in case. In this case, she was really dumb trying to go in there. That was just pure suicide.
Yeah.
Lucio keeps the flankers at range of boot. Reaper here is the kill it. Also, Junkrat keeps them. Essentially, they have two boots, right? 1, 2. They have Junkrat and Lucio to keep the flankers at range. Well, what happens? The flankers start flanking, and the rest that dove, the Pharah and the Winston, they're getting held up right now. Right? And now a couple pieces of the dive died. Dive only works as a whole entity, so they have to back up.
Yeah, it's so fragile.
Pharah actually really bad at destroying shields. Here's that burst heal. Two kills.
I get very excited.
They even ult there, but there's a Zarya.
Thank God.
Eva has to back out. So what does that mean?
Means you've lost your momentum.
That means everyone else has free reign. The Junkrat has free reign, the Reaper has free reign, everyone can do what they want. The Junkrat got Lucio, Reaper got Tracer, Junkrat took out Tank. I like how people, first of all, I like how their reaction is like, and I'm sorry because I'm a Junkrat, but none of these shots have been impressive. So I saw some things in the forum where like, man, Flower's so good at Junkrat, that's the only way you can play him from that good. Like, actually, he doesn't do anything that impressive. It's how the team works with him, and it's how the composition is essentially works. That's the impressive part. It's not the play; it's the thought of this composition. Which I guarantee you, if you did on the ladder, everyone would complain that Reaper and the Junkrat right now are throwing. So is the
That's
Zarya and the
convenient for our
Reinhardt.
purposes anyway.
Right, all these classes are bad.
You don't need it. I said that's convenient for. Let me pause it. It's not. That's convenient for our purposes anyway. You don't need someone who's nuts with his primary fire right off the bat. It's just the general threat of him and the just getting damage out and how it just slows down enemies
Exactly.
as
You don't need a professional Junkrat. You just need a patient Junkrat that can shred shields.
Yeah.
I'll try to be
So
more
the Reddit,
patient. I'm sorry.
the Reddit and all the top 100 and everyone else in the ladder, this composition can't work. This is throwing. They're throwing right now, technically. So, Junkrat assassinates Zenyatta. This happens. Remember, another thing we talk about. Flanking takes time. Sorry to keep on
I don't
pausing,
know.
but there's a
Should
lot of talk
I
about
play
Flanking takes
Junkrat
time.
more, or
What does Junkrat now give?
You're too quiet, Nia. What are you
You
speaking?
can try it if you'd like.
yeah, my girlfriend is just get up early. So, I don't know. Should I play Junkrat more, or
Honestly, it would honestly depend. Like, on defense, a Junkrat and a Reaper would be extremely useful with your team composition, but it's also map dependent.
that's true.
On King of the Hill, which that will be discussed after King's Row, I'm pretty sure it goes to Nepal after King's Row, and then it goes to Route 66. But he's not something to use in every single map, but on defense, on a map like this, or a map like Anubis, I would love a Junkrat, I would love a Reaper, especially if they are running dive, if it is a confirmed running dive. But you will see, because they change off from dive finally. When they get brutally murdered on King's Row, they try to do something different. It still doesn't work, but it was cute.
But yeah, Nia, as far as like team-wise is concerned, you know, feel free to experiment with it. I'm certainly not gonna say no, but
And I'll happily show you like good spots for Junkrats to camp.
Great.
and if it feels like it's working for you, it feels like something you can do, yeah, go for it. I know Ender has been doing a little bit of Reaper here and there, so something that we could definitely explore as our lineup, see if it's something that we can do or if it fits for you two guys or what have you. And then
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I definitely don't mind playing Reaper either. I'd have fun.
We'll figure it out.
I
We
recently-
can, we can still figure out who plays what later on. This is just discussing like your team composition and how to work around certain things.
Fair enough.
Alright, let's continue.
What the fuck about it? Time. Why? Because it's burst. It's burst oriented. Burst mobility, burst damage. The tracer flanks. Anyone flanks, it takes time. What happens? You rotate on the rotation. They send two people this way, you send two people that way. Guess what? Your two people, Reaper, Junkrat, are going to do insane amounts of damage in 2 to 3 seconds while the tracer is still flanking.
I can feel myself getting back
It's
into
gonna
the.
do damage. Once you take
Hey, I'm gonna say this.
back and support
It's Wing of Things.
nailed it.
But yeah, that was another point. So when they're trying to flank, it does take a little bit of time, but your Junkrat and your Reaper don't take time. So you can get off a couple picks that will weaken their fronts. When they get behind, it'll be much, much easier to deal with flankers then. That's also another point. So if you're running attack and there's a flanker, by the time that flanker gets behind you and is attacking, you'll probably have a couple dead up front, and then you can easily turn around and kill them.
Yeah, the flankers cannot, like, their whole job is not to establish the front themselves. They have to open up a second front. So if you've weakened their primary front, the flankers are just opening up a new primary front, which is suicidal,
prevents
yeah.
them from flanking. If they try to flank a second time, their front is weaker than it was before. They have to stay in the front to keep that because there's so much damage up front. They have to be there to help.
And that chews up a lot of time. Because then it's like they're forced to get in position and then wait for the reset.
And this increases the team fight's length, which will increase your charge and everyone else's ult that's currently in that team fight.
Hooray. Yep.
Yes.
Also has ult.
the Junkrat. This is what I always do, right? Hold the hotel. It's the best goddamn place for it.
You have all.
Eva has to use resources, right?
Oh,
Give him all the resources.
no, I don't, though.
Coming out early. There's the
Top
there's
lane
the
gets
bubble.
spread out.
Winston already died.
Reaper was inside the bubble. He
Wow.
killed him,
Yeah.
right? Now you would think this would be very weak against the Pharah, but look how they're playing. They rotate as a team. They kill the supports, And now they don't have to worry about the Pharaoh, right? She has to back off on her own.
The Pharah flanked stupidly. I think she was hoping for an ult.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
the Pharah that's on her own gets hunted down.
Goodbye.
And it gets...
There's that amazing Ana.
Now they're down a lot.
Yep.
And there's a goddamn ult.
It's Beyblade! It's a Beyblade season over again. All over again. Oh, there's the Zarya ult. They're ruined.
They use a defensive ult. But Zarya doesn't give two fucks because once that defensive ult dies, Zarya ults, defensive ult runs out, they all die.
Classic.
And then they get it. So, as we can see, South Korea threw the game by their pants. The total throw with these picks. Everyone would say they're weak against range. That's actually their biggest weakness is range. The thing is that what long-range heroes suck at? Destroying shields. They got the best shield in the goddamn game, right? Secondly, they have a Zarya. So Reinhardt can put his shield down, they can back up with Lucio speed, or they can hold a specific corner of the map where they're less vulnerable. King's Row, they can keep on backing up.
Zarya is deceptively strong at range against other ranged heroes, excluding Pharah. Like,
she has some
trust me.
range.
Essentially, just think about a circle.
Her alt fire is so, like,
It's a circle.
putting it real quick. Like, not only can you hit them and deal like a good chunk of damage, which is just really handy to get them to back off and disengage, which takes up more time, but it also throws off their shots, like, majorly. They just get thrown around, similar to how Junkrat does.
That's also a thing that can be used, but he's also not a Zarya main, so he wouldn't be able to point things out. So that's useful that you can point something like that out, because you know your character completely through and through. Pro knows his character completely through and through. I know Mercy down to every last fiber, so does Allie. We know our mains, so we can like add extra things to something.
Hell yeah.
Right. Are we prepared?
Yep.
So, these guys only have to go from here to here. Well, anyone else trying to get this corner, at first they have to go from here. Oh, they have to go. Here's my line tool. Shift. Yeah. They have to go all the way from here, all the way around, to get around this, right? Because these guys have to traverse a smaller circle. They have to traverse this circle, while the other guys have to traverse essentially the entire map. It's simple logistics. I have to back up 3 feet, you have to back up essentially, I don't know, 100 meters, right? Just because of how circles work. So they pivot around a corner, they pivot very small, but they have to pivot very big. It buys them time if their shields were low, or if their resources were low, which they're not. Also, they didn't have a long range comp, they had a dive comp. So actually, dive comp sucks at breaking shields. They suck at range. Winston, terrible. Pharah, in this instance, they had Pharah, but they changed to Genji and Tracer. Eva, not good at breaking shields. She has really high fall-off damage. She has to be really close to the shield, in which case she's getting beaten with a hammer or Zarya. That's what really keeps her in check. The Genji Tracer...
You didn't have the 6 couple. I'm ashamed of you, Neo.
And also, they're not that good at breaking shields either. They have to be close. Then the two
I would strive for better.
well, actually, the Reinhardt is really good against...
Hey, let's force solo
if he has
though.
a team to support him. When Reinhardt dies, or how he dies, is by dive comp out-maneuvering him to get behind him and attacking him
It's always
directly and
like that.
embracing him in the game.
This is very
You have
important.
Ana burst heal, you have Zarya shield, Lucio boop, Junkrat, Peasant Mine. You have a lot of disruptive abilities. Not only that, but Junkrat, Reaper, anything that fucking takes 5 seconds to kill a
Caboose, what are you doing in game?
Reinhardt.
Custom game.
That's 5 seconds to Junkrat.
Just random boss battles, things that I can play mindlessly while listening.
I was gonna ask if you wanted to go into off season, but like, I guess not.
So, as he just said there, if they somehow manage to dive on someone and actually kill them, the burst damage from the Junkrat and the Reaper is going to brutally murder them, and that's a traded pick. And then when a dive comp loses something, the dive comp falls apart.
Picks are more favorable for the non-dive comp in this case. A 1-for-1's not as even as a typical 1-for-1.
Exactly, and in this case, if you have me, a Mercy 1-trick, you're going to be rezzed. That's a tempo res that's absolutely brilliant. You've gotten one pick that completely tears the team apart. They've gotten one pick. We don't really... It's more of a tempo res because the Reinhardt will help with the shields, preventing anyone from getting past. And it also gives us a 6v5. Eventually probably going to be a 6v4 because the Diva's probably going to be right on whatever... Or the Diva or the Winston, whichever one died first, the second one's going to die like a second later because the Junkrat and the Reaper are still going to be on their asses. And one or the other is going to waste the defense matrix or the bubble. They're going to be shredded. If they have an Ana's not going to be able to heal through that. Ana's great, but a Junkrat and a Reaper's 2 amazing burst damage is still going to shred him in seconds, especially if the Reaper, or I mean not the Reaper, the rezzed Reinhardt gets between them. That's when he's really fucked.
You know, the whole thing with tempo res though within the current meta, without like if it doesn't change to the new Mercy stuff, tempo res is going to be the traditional way of using it versus the big res.
That's painfully true, but anyway, yeah. But yeah.
That's the only thing I have to add to that, but otherwise you are 100% correct. But
I know.
A lot of the reses.
It's just depressing to think about it. Alright, back to the video. Everybody's ready?
Yep.
At 5 seconds, he would do 720 damage. I don't know Reaper's numbers that well, but I'm pretty sure they're very well close to it.
So it's about over 1,400 damage there.
No, so actually Reinhardt will be stronger and Zarya will be stronger. So this is pre-buff. No, this is a very well-designed comp.
My comp goal this season actually plays in Masters and not dick around playing Genji.
Right?
Like I play Genji, I get platinum. I play Ryan every other game like that.
So,
Fuck,
I lost my point. People were talking. So, now I remember. So, this was a very well designed comp, and I've seen this comp before in quick play. But the thing of it is that unless you're a 6-stack team, this isn't going to work as well because you're not working together as a team. You can have the perfect comp, and it can completely fall apart because you're not working together. But you guys have a very good teamwork ethic and communication that this would actually legitimately work just as well as it did for South Korea. If you get as good at your roles.
Perhaps. Yeah, what we need to do in that sense is, one, definitely have good, clear, to the point communications, which will set up 2 things. Well, we'll set up one thing, which is the focus fire element, which is half the battle. The other half is everyone knowing his or her role in the comp. So it's not just like, oh yeah, you play tank, you play DPS, whatever. It's like that
which
combines...
DPS, which tank do you use?
Well, yes, but even when it comes down to the team fight, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah. And it's... Yeah. The supports are, bursting, either whoever's getting dove on or frontline in this case, or, Junkrat and Reaper. As soon as a Winston comes in and drops the bubble, they are getting rid of that immediately, which will then open up, that dive character to just be picked. And rather than... Because we've had some issues with focus firing in the past, and what dive has done is basically shine a spotlight on that problem and magnify it. So we have a tendency to become very disorganized and chaotic when we basically, people don't have a job, quote unquote, to fall back on. So it's like, okay, we're getting dove, everything's chaos, just try to survive and whatever, and we'll hope it works out for the best. Exactly, and it's not
here's something interesting about your general team competency is that you're all low mobility characters. So you shouldn't have for one thing, it'll be very difficult for you to split up. The second thing is that you shouldn't split up.
Right.
Especially when you're being dove on. You should all be turning, or not all of you be turning, but you know what I mean. You should all be, like, focusing what has dove you, and with the amount of damage that your team will and would have, would completely shred through that. Pick that off. Next pick. Oh, they have to back off. If they keep going in, they're stupid, they're going to die. Which will stagger them. Because with the amount of damage, ideally, you would have Winston will be picked off a couple seconds later, Diva will be picked off. If anyone tries to push forward, they're going to get picked off in the near instance. The Zarya will probably have full charge by then. Reaper and Junkrat will be fully loaded. You pick them off. The Winston and Diva have already respawned. They have to wait or they're going to stagger.
The only thing that could go wrong in that sense is if they have patient flankers. Here's the thing. They have to either have flankers that are immediate or are a little bit hesitant.
Exactly.
What we had against Team Teal was specifically a Genji and Winston, if I recall correctly. I don't know if there was a third.
So awful. And a Pharah too, yeah.
So what would happen is the Pharah would basically shoot her rocket into wherever the supports were, and at the exact same moment, the Genji and the Winston would land, the Genji would have Swift Struck, and the Winston would just left click, and like it was just immediate death for our supports. Like there was nothing to do, and then once that happened, we didn't have the sustain for our tanks to really like brawl it out, so like we would just get slowly ground down.
Yeah, so in that instant, that would be more of a change of positioning for that case, because there's all the maps. There's always covers to keep you from being spotted by a Pharah. The Pharah will have to traverse more terrain to get to them. The Genji and the Winston have to traverse more terrain to get to them. That causes mobility usage and more noticeability. So if on King's Road you guys are at the choke point, Pharah flies around, say your Ana is like behind the hotel but like peeking out so that she can still see you, the Pharah will have to shoot her, but the Winston and Genji, they have to go around further. That will take them longer. By then someone's going to notice them. The Ana has a very small place to turn because she can just walk to the hotel. There's a Junkrat in there. Hey, the Junkrat's holding the hotel. Nobody can get in there. She can get in there with the Junkrat. They have to go into that small hotel to get to the Ana now. The Genji and the Winston do. They're going to be ruined by the Junkrat and the Reaper.
That's true. Yeah, because where we fell into that trap, so to speak, was that
yes, I saw the pun.
Good. Where Killface was positioned, he was on the left side under our left side. So if we're coming from the defensive spawn, on the left side under the arch, which, well, it gave him good line of sight to where Ollie and I were holding, because we hold like right behind that corner, so we don't get hit by any Widow or Hanzo right off the bat. We keep the shield right away from it. So basically, yeah, like the enemy have to commit for us to start taking shield damage, rather than them being able to poke at the choke, doing shield damage, and then come in, which is what you see sometimes in quick play, which is stupid. But yeah, so we hold there, and then when Killface was there, he has line of sight on us pretty easily, but that
He's
allowed...
also got easily seen by the Pharah.
That's exactly it. So like the Pharah would literally just come around the hotel and be able to immediately shoot him, and then the second that the Winston and Genji could see our team, they could pounce him as well.
Yeah, so the Winston and the Genji were further up because you guys were back there, but that's honestly fine. The only issue was that Killface was too far away from the hotel to take cover from the Pharah. The Pharah got her first shot off, the Genji and the Winston jumped, and he had no defense back there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, so we had 1 or 2 picks early on. There was another... I'm forgetting if this was the same fight or not, or if it was the same scrim, but there's another instance also on King's Row, like, he'd move to get behind me, and it's like... that's all he could do in terms of taking defense, and it was in like the back corner by the hotel, so if you're moving from the left side of the arch to the right and then into that corner area, but it's like at that point I am facing off against like their soldiers on the high ground, they're Pharah shooting, and they're both being healed, and it's like I can't...
No, there's nothing you do about that. In that case, you really did need something that could defend the support without you having to deal with that, while the support can still heal you.
Well, that was the remains of our team in its entirety at that point.
Yeah, so... But yeah, there was nothing you can do about that. But yeah, you just have to work on the positioning, because the Ana can position closer to the hotel, still be able to see you, and have less time to get back into the hotel to save herself. But she would need someone in there to help, which in this case would be a Junkrat, most likely. A Junkrat or a Reaper. So the Pharah would not be able to get to her at all. If the Winston and Genji wanted to get in there, they'd have to deal with either a Reaper or Junkrat or both. And then while they take care of that, she'd most likely be able to escape and heal you guys through the hotel.
Yeah, we've actually had, like, I mean, on the support front too, like, we've had a lot of luck with Mercy on King's Row when it's played correctly. Like, there was that one time, I don't know if any of you folks remember, but we had Desu who was playing on Mercy, and we got, like, so many good reses off, and he was able to survive against the enemy team, just, like, constantly chasing him around.
Oh yeah, a Mercy is literally the best mobile support, better than a Lucio. Because if your team is positioned properly, all she has to do is, oh hey, I'm gonna go fly over to this guy on the high ground. Oh, there's someone over here. Oh, goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And she can heal for a good few seconds as she's flying away, because her beam length, even after the beam length is over with, it still connects for a couple extra seconds before it disconnects. So she can heal her power boost as she's flying away.
Yeah, and that mobility has been helpful instead of the Ana. I mean, I don't know, I always want an Ana though. It's just
you guys need an Ana. I'm gonna be completely honest. The amount of damage that you guys take, the aggressive, the way that you guys are aggressive on attack, especially you need an Ana because of that burst healing. Because a Lucio Mercy combination is good in some cases, but in cases where you're taking large amounts of damage, a Lucio cannot help a Mercy heal through all that.
Right.
You need an Ana in the back line. Plus, also, if one of them gets picked off, they're most likely to get picked off, because the Lucio is what's also helping the Mercy stay alive. The Ana can help the Mercy stay alive so much better.
And that biotic
if she's hitting her
shots.
God. Yes, and her E it's absolutely fantastic. So in this case, you would want an Ana over a Lucio in most cases. Now, because you're an immobile composition, a Lucio is good, but at the same time, you don't need to be mobile with your team composition. You're good as you are.
Because we can just trundle forward if we're doing it on attack, or let them just come to us.
You're also able to pick your fights. You can pick your fights so much easier. When you are charging in, you're all together. That is the best way to start a fight, is when you're together and you have that much damage. They're ruined. They split apart. They may fight together, but you're putting out so much damage that they can't take care of that as well.
And, like, on that note, too, having the Lucio in there, instead we have a Zen, which is what we've done fairly consistently.
Zenyatta is also good for you guys.
Yeah, like, it allows me to play DPS, like, straight up. Like, anytime that there's Discord, it's like...
A Discord orb is a godsend for a lot of players, especially if you have a Junkrat Reaper combination. Discord orb, you're basically just like tearing through paper at that point.
Right. Like,
but in most cases, yeah, an Ana's burst healing is what you'd most likely need if they're putting out that much damage.
Right.
But yeah, both are good. I would still prefer an Ana on attack for you guys at least, because it helps keep up with the amount of damage you're taking as you're, like, plowing through them.
And since we don't need that speed boost technically, it's fine that she is a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's honestly very, very fine.
It's what?
Because in attack, the Ana's not going to be, like, 100 feet behind you. She's going to be behind enough that if someone dives her, it won't take you guys long to get to her.
And even if she is that far behind, which usually would happen if there's like a really far-reaching charge, she's still able to hit scan.
Yeah, she's able to hit scan. If someone dives her, she can buy herself time with her E and her sleep dart. That buys you guys enough time for somebody to turn around and save her.
And if it's in an attack situation where we're attacking anyway, and something is coming out of the fight to dive that, I feel a lot like... On defense, it feels different if we lose the Ana initially and we're trying to hold, versus if we're on attack and like something is leaving the fight to pounce an Ana who's too far back, like we're just going to clean up front.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like on attack, you guys are more comfortable with pushing forward. On defense, you have more issues with it because I feel like you want to push forward, but you know you can't, so you're kind of like, you're hesitant in your movements.
Mm-hmm.
You're too hesitant in your movements in this case. But in this case, the tank shouldn't be the ones turning around unless it's like right on your butts.
Right.
In that case, the DPS, the Junkrat, and the Reaper should be the ones taking care of that issue. Diana should also be close to the Junkrat and the Reaper as well. She should be in some form that she can traverse something to get into the space where she would be safe. But we'll work on that positioning with your Ana later on. We'll go back to the video now.
Well, that sounds good. Actually, at this point, for me, I am going to hit the stream stop. I gotta bow out. It's a bit
Okay, I'll
much,
just
but this
continue
was,
with these guys.
It was quite informative. Well, all right.
Unless they don't want to do it.
I feel like only Neo's in there right now. Well, I mean,
No, it's Neo and Ally.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, who aren't in game? I mean.
Yeah.
I'm practicing grind stuff.
But he's also listening to me.
Okay. Well, if somebody could, since this isn't being, or it won't be really streamed or anything, take just notes on general things, then we can circle back on it later, so we can get in a more kind of timely or bullet-pointed fashion.
Is somebody
someone
going to
else-
offer to record this?
Or that.
Because I can't. I can't. I know that.
Just get a notebook and write with your pen.
I guess I could do that, but I mean, I can just repeat.
Oh, I meant like anybody. Or that, yeah. I mean, if there's just like some general points, or well, specific points, I should say, that you have on specific moments, what I'd recommend is looking at the time code of the video and then say like, look here for this, or this, and then if there's anything that is more overall, like not a specific point in the video, but just a general thing that is relevant that comes up, just note that too. I mean, that's going to be helpful, and then we can go back and
Yeah,
spread
honestly,
it.
though, in your free time, you should look at this video yourself too to see if there's anything that you can add to it.
Yeah, the
But
moment
you don't even have to watch the whole thing at once.
I know for me, if someone gets dived and I don't have to hold up a shield, I can just cleave off the armor.
Yeah, he can do that too. He can also act as a Junkrat his own way.
Like defense matrix, I can also act as Zarya too.
Yeah,